my name is Karen Wilcuts with the North Lake Tahoe-Truckee Leadership Program, and I want to welcome you to our chats with our local candidates, or in this case, the person who won the election for Nevada County, Hardy Bullock. So thank you so much for joining us, Hardy. We've got some questions for you. I know you're not running now, but I still wanted to, I felt that this was an important time to have a conversation with you so that we could reach out to your constituents and let them know what it's going to be like having you as supervisor. So could you tell us, first of all, a little bit about the makeup of Nevada County?
Sure. Nevada County is, obviously it's oriented east-west, so the county covers a pretty large geographic area. There's 5 districts in Nevada County, 1 through 5. District 5 covers the eastern portion of Nevada County. If you're familiar with the map of Nevada County, it looks like a gun, and the barrel is essentially District 5. So that runs from outside of Nevada City all the way from on the western side all the way to the east side, and bordered on the east side by the state of Nevada line. And then on the north side of District 5 is Sierra County, and on the south side is Placer County. So that's essentially District 5. Districts 1, 2, 3, and 4 are essentially more city-oriented. So City of Nevada City, City of Grass Valley, and then South County, which is down by Lake of the Pines and that area. And then you have Penn Valley in the area that goes down toward the Highway 20 corridor, down toward the northern part of the county. 5-member elected Board of Supervisors, 4-year terms. I won in the primary, so I was unopposed, and that was a portion of my strategy was really to come out strong, announce my candidacy early, which I did in around the 10th of August of 2019. I campaigned pretty steadily all the way through the primary and won in the primary, obviously. And so I go into the ballot uncontested in November. You won't see my name on there because technically I won in the primary.
So we were just talking before we started, and I thought it was very interesting. I asked you how you reached out to the western side of the county, and can you tell us a little bit about your background there?
Sure. So I grew up in Nevada City. I graduated from the high school, Nevada Union High School, in 1989, and I went to Chico State for a year, and then I took a year off to guide up in Alaska, and then I ended up graduating from UNR. So I have deep roots. My family still lives in Nevada City. I really enjoy Nevada County as a whole, and Western County as a soft, kind of place in my heart, as the place I grew up. So I'm familiar with the people there, and I was an acting, planning commissioner for a period of time there in Western County as well. So I have deep ties, still currently engaged in Western County, and spend a lot of time recreating in the county as a whole. So that's essentially when I decided to run. I met with a lot of people in Eastern County and talked to them before I made the decision to run. And one of the pieces that really resonated with them is that I was a unique candidate in that I understand people and the communities that exist in Western County. And I also have lived for 30 years in Eastern County. So it makes me uniquely suited to fill that position as a supervisor, because really the Eastern County District 5 supervisor represents Truckee primarily and in all the outlying areas of the district, but really has to work directly with the supervisors in Western County to get things accomplished.
So how do you want to bring those two sides together, the western side and the eastern side?
Sure. So one of the things that we talk a lot about is the differences. So we're separated by a mountain range. Essentially, we're on the east side and they're on the west side. The demographic is quite different, but many of the things that we really value as independent communities are very similar if you step back a little bit and think about them. So we have a huge recreational outdoor passion, and we have a winter sports economy. They have more of a summer-oriented economy, hunting, fishing. The river, South Yuba River, is a big piece there. But we also have these components where, Western County is a farming community, so they grow organic foods. We are really searching for healthy alternatives to eat organic foods. We have big wintertime amenities for recreational opportunities, skiing and snowboarding and Nordic skiing. and they have opportunities in the summer. I can go ride my bike down there in the winter. I enjoy cycling. Nevada City and Grass Valley and Western County have a really vibrant arts and cultural community that is resonating with our cultural district, arts and cultural district that's been tilted up in Truckee. So we connect on many of these things. And I think just sharing what we connect on, understanding that our communities are different, and really celebrating those differences and strengthening both communities in that process is my goal. And I talk a lot about one county because we are one county, and we're different for obvious reasons, but I think that can be a strength and not necessarily a detractor or a weakness.
So I love this idea of one county. It's not us and them. It's everybody in the county, which is really great for you to embrace everyone. What do you think some of the major issues are for Nevada County, and what would you like to tackle, and what would you like to
Sure.
Talk about?
Yeah, sure. So when I started campaigning, I really talked a lot about catastrophic wildfire preparation, planning, and prevention. Talked a lot about housing, and housing on the east side and homelessness on the west side. Homelessness is kind of a problem with all communities we have to face. And then mental health. You introduce COVID into that situation. We have a lot of work we're going to be doing, obviously, from the health perspective, but also the economic perspective, the outfall and the kind of the all the repercussions of the COVID crisis that we're going to have to work with. So obviously that's going to be forefront on day one. And I've been following a lot of the county issues that the supervisors are grappling with. Dispensing that money to health and human service providers is going to be there. But those are my focus areas, essentially wildfire, housing and homelessness, mental health in the east side. I have a deep concern for before this pandemic ever happened on how we're going to care, particularly for youth, teenagers, and young adults, and how they're handling and dealing with stress, mental health issues, suicide preventions. Those things are really forefront. And I talked a lot in my campaign about a story my daughter told me when she came home from high school, and she said, "Dad, today we learned how to get out of an active shooter situation. I'm going to jump up on the roof, and I'm going to run out a window, and I'm going to jump off the roof. And if my legs break, I'm going to just keep running and all this stuff." And I said, there's something wrong with that conversation. This is a conversation that alarms me and disturbs me, and it's not a reality that I'm going to accept. We have to arrive at a different solution than planning for a tragedy like that. We have to help people before we get there. And on the mental health side, you have drugs and alcohol, homelessness, and mental health. And it's a triangle. And if you can remove one of those legs of the triangle, you start improving that problem. And so there's a bunch of things in health and human services that we're going to have to look at as a community. And Eastern County needs help from Nevada County. Eastern County needs support from Nevada County on the western side. And I'm really excited because I've met some great people at the county that I think are really going to deeply engage with us on these things. And that's my goal, is to work with the system, build partnerships, and get services for Eastern County.
I love partnerships. I love networking and bringing everybody to the table. You and I were talking a little bit earlier. The town of Truckee is about to hire a new town manager. We'll have a new mayor in Truckee in December, and then you're coming on board in November. So I just think it's a great opportunity for you all to start new and have some great conversations and to collaborate. So how are you going to communicate with your constituents? What forms do you have? What ways do you have to communicate?
So the first thing I did is I moved the supervisor's office, and I'm not the supervisor yet, so I won't get sworn in until January 4th, but I'm already moving the office from its existing location at the sheriff's substation into the town hall building. So the Nevada County Board of Supervisors District 5 will have an office inside the town building. And that's my primary strategy there, is that I can be close to town staff and close to the constituents that understand where central government is. So when you walk in the town hall, you know that you're dealing with your local government. Well, you're also going to now know that you're dealing with Nevada County and somebody's there to help you. And I'm going to put signs on the office door that if the door is locked and you need help, here's who you can call. So that was the number one piece, is to get a real sense of Nevada County and a county presence inside that facility. The town's been wonderful to work with. Kim Zurich has been, and Dan Wilkins have been heading up that organization since Jeff left. It's just been a pleasure working with that group, and they got a nice office set up there. And so that's number one. Number two is I kind of am going to engage social media on a slightly higher level. So I'm going to use Twitter and Facebook and Instagram to send out some of my messaging. MyNevadaCounty.com is being improved with Taylor and her group down at the county as a communication conduit. And then obviously I'm going to pick up my phone. I'm going to get a county phone number, and I'm going to have a staff member there in Truckee that's going to answer that phone and create opportunities to meet with me directly. So the phone rings. If you want to talk to me, you can make an appointment. We can get together and talk. And so that's really the connection points that I have. It's social media, it's in person, it's through the website and the county connections, and then it's that physical presence in the building.
I think that's a great idea. I apologize. I had it in my head that you were starting in November, but of course you're going to be sworn in January. So the town hall, that's exciting. So where are you going to be upstairs?
Yeah, so if you walk upstairs and if you went to make a right into the council chambers, you'd make a left and go into the Chamber of Commerce office.
Right.
There's two offices on the right that we're making into one office, and the Chamber of Commerce is going to be a shared office space between the supervisor's office and the chamber.
That's so perfect.
Yeah, we think it's going to be nice.
And you'll be able to work with Lynn Saunders a lot then too.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we think it's really going to work well.
Good. So I know that you have outreach into the community with committees. Can you tell us about the Nevada County committees, how they work? And then you told me earlier that you appoint people onto the committees. Tell us about that process.
Sure, it's much like many other small government organizations. Essentially, there's committees that range from fairly formal, like the Planning Commission, which is a quasi-judicial body that makes judgments and rulings on land use decisions. Pretty important stuff, high level of technicality associated with those projects. So obviously there's a county planning commissioner for Nevada County. It's currently Bill Greeno. He was appointed by Richard Anderson. I know Bill very well, lifelong friend of mine, and I suspect that he's going to want to retain that position. He would be my first choice if I had to make a choice to fill that spot. So I'm excited about that. And then there's a number of other appointees, the Transportation Commission, Commission on Aging. Some of those are directly underneath Supervisor for District 5, and some of those are more collectively associated with the Board of Supervisors as a whole. And some of them will be appointed by the board chair, Heidi Hall, and some will be appointed by me. And so we work through that process together to make sure there's representation for the different work that the county has to do. And I find it really rewarding. If you've ever been involved in those, I would encourage anybody who's watching this to give me a call and see what they're interested in, because there's kind of a niche to fill any interest, and it's really, really rewarding to be part of that process, to have your voice heard and to represent people that that need to be represented in a sphere of influence that really interests you. And I think it's a great way to serve your community.
Yeah, I would love to see leadership alumni get involved in some of those committees. So, you know, can you put out a call for committees? You know, let me know.
Sure. You bet. What we're going to do, we're going to have the county run an ad and do selection work on all of those. So you'll see it in the Sierra Sun. You may see it, and I'll certainly send it to you and to the Chamber of Commerce and make sure that the county is, and some of the people that have been in those spots probably will be the best candidate and maybe even the only candidate to reassign to those positions. But it is my desire to look closely at all of those positions and make sure that the right people are there, that they're energized, that they're engaged, and they're willing to serve for another term, or whatever the term may be for that group. So it is something I'm looking at and have been talking with Julie Patterson, the district clerk, on.
Perfect. That's great. So tell us a little bit about your time with the airport district. The reason I bring this up is because the Truckee Tahoe Airport is a special district. It's one of very few airport districts in the state of California, but I think that it's important that you have worked for a special district because there are so many in the area, and they figure prominently in Nevada County. So can you tell us a little bit about your work there?
Yeah, it's a great point you bring up. I'm the Director of Aviation and Community Services. I've been there for about 12 years. My day job is really dealing with aviation and serving the community, both on the demand side and our response to that demand through trying to reduce community annoyance, trying to enhance benefits to the community. So I've spent a lot of time there working directly with both the constituents and then the elected and appointed officials that run the airport, and Kevin, the general manager. The piece that's interesting about Truckee is that before Truckee Incorporated, they had many special districts because it was essentially devoid of that central leadership offered up through the county structure. So it's a congregate, kind of a collection, and you congregate all of these special districts: TTSA, TTSD, TTUSD, the sanitation, Eastern Regional Landfill, the airport, and all these people came together to essentially serve the community. So what's interesting is that being in that role, I really understand the importance of collecting all of that leadership together. And the county allows me a framework to try and pull those people in to serve Eastern County. It's a really powerful model because there's a lot of autonomy in those. It can also make people in the community not understand exactly who's serving them. And in Western County, people really look to the county, to Nevada County, for services, because many of the services they get are actually directly from the county. That's why it's hard for people in Eastern County to understand what Nevada County does for them. So it's part of my mission to really explain that in great detail, the organization between the special districts and all the entities that make up Eastern County services, and how Nevada County fits into that.
Let me just explain that somebody is not breaking into your car.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Actually planned.
Thanks. Yeah, we had an unplanned trip to Santa Barbara, so we're in Sacramento on our way home, and I had to drop my son and my daughter off at an apartment in Santa Barbara, and they're down there enjoying it. So we had to respond to COVID like everybody else, and that put me in the car on the way home. So thanks for your the patience.
Well, I certainly appreciate you stopping and taking the time to talk to us. I can't wait for you to be inaugurated. I can't wait for you to be the Nevada County Supervisor. I think that this is a fantastic opportunity for you, for us, and I think it's I'm proud of you. And I think it's going to be a great 4 years. So
thank you so much.
Congratulations.
One thing I wanted to mention, and I've heard you talk about it, the leadership program has been such an inspiration to me and to you and to others. I've seen so many people take the experience they gained there and do such wonderful things with it. I cannot recommend it more. And if anybody says I don't have time, or I don't, I'm not outgoing, it took me from, all of a sudden you're exposed to all these things, and you get up and you do public speaking and you work with other people and other organizations, and it really takes you out of your comfort zone, and that's the goal. And if you think you don't have time, look closely at what time you have and what it's worth, because I think it's really important to make those steps in your career, and I couldn't recommend it more. And I'm happy to do this again with the next class, or anybody, to talk to them about the benefits you're going to get out of that program.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. We, Toastmaster Table Topics, public speaking, part of the program that people hate the most, but love the most too, because at the end they get so much out of it. And yeah, so I would like to invite you to come meet the new class. Just to clarify, we're not sure when our next class is going to be. Normally it would start in January, but because of COVID, we aren't going to start in January, but it'll be fantastic to have the Nevada County Supervisor welcoming the new class next year. So
you bet. Looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you. Travel safely, and I can't wait to see you in person soon.
You see you soon. Thanks again. Take care.